So hi everybody. First I want to talk a little bit about depression. This is what I always say, this is my solution to everything. You gotta embrace reality. Most important thing you can do is see things as they really are. Not worse than they are and not better than they are. And one thing that I see tends to happen to a lot of people is that they catastrophize and make everything, those 3 P's, permanent, pervasive, and personal, which problems almost never are. The things people kill themselves over are almost never permanent, pervasive, and personal. Never. Things come. This too shall pass, right? Things come and they go out of life. You know, I heard someone say, "We are the sky, and these problems, they are the clouds. They come in and they go. They come in and they go. Sometimes they come and they're dark and black, and they fill up the sky and they stay a while. Sometimes they just float in like little fluffy clouds and leave right away." You know, it's a very good little analogy. That's very true. Depression is like the clouds, and we are like the sky. We're always here. The clarity comes eventually, and with time there gets to be fewer and fewer clouds. I don't really ever have depression anymore. Even in the midst of these really tragic circumstances, I don't. Once you get down to seeing things just as they are, then you have to be able to see them as better than they are. You have to be able to have vision. You have to be able to see things improving, because that is the essence of life. That is what brings us meaning and purpose and joy in life. We don't have to be perfect. We don't ever have to be perfect. But what we have to be, is making progress. And it could be, you know, the biggest thing in the worst of times, the thing that I always had to be able to do, that I was able to make it through anything doing, is if I just did the next right thing. That became a really important message to me. Just do the next right thing, however small it was. You know, the next right thing might be take a shower, go out and get some fresh air. That period of my life, it was starting to do normal things again, starting to try and do normal things, because I was living in a very abnormal life. Just do the next right thing, and that really is a great way to make it through. And next thing you know, you're doing more things, and the steps you can make are bigger. And it wasn't really that long before my life started to look familiar again, because there was a point at my lowest low where I was seriously just like, how in the world did I get here? Like, I mean, here I was, like, this person who, you know, I had all these privileges and all this opportunity, and I graduated from college, and when I had met my husband, I was, you know, in my early 20s, and I was perfectly healthy and young, and the world was in front of me. You know, we built a business together, and we were building our dream house, and we were surrounded by friends. And I have this video of a birthday party that I was having when I was 32, and you look at that video and you think to yourself, this she's made it, she's safe. How did I get from there, where I'm in this, you know, surrounded by friends and family in my beautiful yard, and to a couple years later, I'm homeless. Those are things that, you know, none of the family knows about any of that. But I was differently. I was, asking myself, how did I get here? I'm like, or in jail, for heaven's sakes, or, you know, at the welfare office, or there were so many places that I went to, that I thought, how did I end up here? What path did I take to get here? Like, this wasn't part of the program. It was such a wild detour. And so how did I get from there to here? To, like, you know, I have this wonderful husband and this beautiful home, and I'm writing a book. I see things as they are, and then I do have this compelling future that I'm getting to. I have dreams, and I'm making steps towards making my dreams. So then the third step, so you have to see things as they are, not better, not worse. Then see things better than they are, and then see some steps you can take to get from here to there. See, there's some sort of a plan, some sort of a pathway to get from here to there. And you don't have to formulate down to every last detail, But, you can kind of see that there's a way you could do it. And then that's when you start breaking down. That's when you start knowing what's the next right thing. The next right thing to get you there. That's all you got to do. You get there by going the next right step. That's all there is. That's all there is to it. And that formula has worked for me to get me from the darkest of dark places. It really has. And you don't need to be making huge leaps and bounds. You don't need to have tons of accomplishment. The universe does not expect you to do this perfectly. The universe does not expect ease and perfection and all of that. We tell ourselves that. The movies tell us that we should have that. That everything should be easy and we should have success and we should have everything that we want just the way we want it. But our souls know better. The universe knows better. The universe knows that we can handle things. We can handle failures. We can handle setbacks. It doesn't crush us. It doesn't kill us. And we know we learn from them. We learn from failures. We learn from mistakes. We learn from it. This is why all the narcissists are so stuck. Because if you can't admit to a mistake, you certainly can't learn from it, and that means you can't grow. So they are so stuck. And that's why they're just frustrating and hopeless for the rest of us. You do those things, and then also the last thing you want to do is you want to make sure that you're learning about these disorders. Make sure you're learning about narcissistic personality disorder. Make sure you're learning about antisocial personality disorder. Make sure you're learning about projection and mobbing and all the different things that they do. Make sure that you become a wellspring of knowledge so that you can understand that it's not about you, so you have some skills and some knowledge that you can draw from, so you can help other people understand it, so you can see what's going on, so that it doesn't all have to look so outrageously confusing, because a lot of the depression also comes from confusion, and because it is so confusing. Unless you are a really sick and twisted person, this makes no sense. So you can only understand it in an intellectual way, and you have to do that by really studying it. And that's what I've had to do, because it comes not naturally to me at all to know how they're thinking. So I've had to study this stuff and know it intellectually, and then that's a source of power for me, and that helps to be able to explain it and be able to talk about it and understand what's going on. And it's also made them more predictable to me, so that I'm not constantly surprised and let down, which my sons still are. My older son more than my younger one, because he believed he still couldn't believe that they were as unloving as they were. So when they would say things that sounded like apologies or sounded like some kind of awareness, he wanted to believe it. He wanted to see them as better than they were. And so he was still hooked into his family to some degree, and always completely hopeful, always saying to me, I talked to so-and-so and I think they feel really bad, and I think they're going to talk to you, and I think they're going to apologize. He was always telling me all these things. It never happened, but he always believed it was going to. He always believed that any minute, the family was going to come around and apologize to his mom and not be these awful people. That they were actually going to be the good people that he really wanted them to be and really needed them to be. Another thing that my family got really wrong is they thought that I was turning my kids against them. And the fact of the matter is that the only reason that my sons had the hope that they had is because I didn't ever want to close that door. I wanted to give them every opportunity to do the right thing. And in retrospect, I think that I made a mistake, because I did leave my kids vulnerable to it, and because I really believed, just like Noah did, I believed that they would come through. I didn't think that they would let their entire childhoods disappear, that they would let the family be destroyed. But they did, and they did some really bad things, and so they just turned out to be people that I just didn't know. I didn't know who they were at all. And it's possible that they changed, that they became worse people, because it escalated. You look at things as they are, and you get a vision for yourself, and you understand about personality disorders, and you understand about your toxic family. You're going to realize for yourself that you can't get from here to there with them in your life, and that's going to be a painful realization for you. But it's going to be one of those realizations where transcendence is on the other side, and you're going to transcend it, you're going to make it through it, and then all this low-level depression will be gone, and you'll be able to reach a place of joy and a place of progress, which is where contentment comes from. That's where the sense of well-being comes from. It's just the need to make progress, however small. It doesn't need to be big progress. You just have to be making progress. Nothing makes us more depressed than feeling we don't have control over our lives and we're stuck. So we got to get out of that. That's an unbearable way for human beings to live. Okay, thanks a lot. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.